good afternoon, because you know what time it is. It's time for some fireworks. Is it the 4th of July? Or is it Labor Day? Or I don't know. But I tell you one thing I know. It's time for GA4 Justice, fired up and ready to go. And I'm bringing it on right now because it's too cool in here. Got to get some hot, got to get some heat in here. Miss Georgia Allen, community activist. Hello.
Boy, oh boy, I'm like you. I am fired up. Not only am I ready to go, but I'm ready to work. All right. Yeah, we've been having a pretty good fired up week this week, haven't we?
No doubt.
No doubt about it. All right. Well, greetings, everybody. I am Georgia F. Allen, and as always, every Thursday at 12 o'clock noon, it is GA for Justice. And as always, I just want to say thank you to our chief engineer, the owner, CEO, president, Mr. Henderson Vaughn, who always open up the airways to us so that we have an opportunity to share openly and honestly about what is going on in our community and sometimes around the state and around the nation. And he allows us this time to just simply have a conversation. I know you hear a lot of talking heads all over the place, everywhere, every way. And we just like to have a conversation. Simple conversation for information, a conversation for correction, as well as a conversation for transformation. And if there ever been a time that we needed to transform some things here in Hampton Roads and around the Hampton Roads area and throughout our state and our nation, now is that time for some true transformation.
Yes.
Today's topic, of course, is freedom and privacy. We need to vote, y'all. We need to vote. Okay, with that being said, I always like to do a disclaimer. Most of you are very much aware that I have worked in the areas of civil rights and have been a community activist for decades. Therefore, the various positions that I may take are mine and mine alone. I do not speak on behalf of any groups or organizations. So with that being said, we are ready to go. Most of you also know that I love the principles of Kwanzaa. And I said all month long, we're going to focus on Imani or faith and to believe with all of our heart in our people and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. If you know anything, you know that Black people have had a struggle, and you know that Black people continue to struggle with all the oppressive measures that have been pushed out against us in more ways than we can count. So today, the scripture that I'm going to use, two scriptures, one New Testament, one Old Testament, with freedom. The scripture is Galatians 5:13. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free. Hello.
Yeah.
We were called to be free. Okay. Simple, plain, simple, no hoopla, no anything. It was a simple message. You are called to be free. So all of us should be free. There should be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We should be and are called to be free. So if you're not free, you need to check yourself.
Hello.
A second scripture that I'm using today is Proverbs 10:8. A wise heart will receive commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. You said, well, Georgia, why you use that for the privacy scripture? Because the guy that has been chosen to be the vice president for President Kamala Harris, and yes, I said President Kamala Harris, he said, mind your own darn business. Now, he used the other D word, but just in case they're monitoring us, I use that scripture because people love the gossip. People love to go and bring a tale, carry a tale, bring a bone, carry a bone. Okay. So we're asking you to stop your chattering, stop your nonsense, and to recognize that people need to have their own business, and that business need to sometimes be private and not for the whole world to know or to see.
Yeah.
Okay? Are we clear? Are we clear? So therefore, because people need their privacy, we're asking people to mind your own darn business and stop getting in everybody's business. Freedom is the power or right to act, to speak, or think as one wants without any hindrances or any restraints. Okay? The power, the right to act, to speak, to talk on your own behalf without any hindrance of restraints, to live, to move, to act, and have your own being and not being constrained by others. Liberation is the act of setting someone free from any type of oppressions whatsoever. So that's why we talk about freedom and liberation and you know, and being without oppression, because we need people to be free. We need people to be able to speak honestly, openly, without the gossiping. When I'm talking about freedom to speak and to act, I'm talking about speaking knowledge. I'm talking about speaking into action what we need to do in order to bring about serious changes within our community. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about freedom. I'm talking about the ability to move and do the things that need to be done to make things better for all of us.
Yeah.
Privacy is the ability to keep our business to ourselves, personal, okay? And not to have it broadcast all over anywhere and everywhere. As a matter of fact, the Fourth Amendment said the right to be secure, basically in your own person, in your own self, in your own homes, in your cars, wherever you go, and to be removed for any unreasonable searches or seizures. Privacy, the privacy to be on your own, to not have people all up in your business. Again, MYODB, mind your own darn business. Okay. Mind your own darn business. And I use that because as I've been watching the national convention of the DNC, many things have been shared throughout this week, throughout the last 3 days, and now we're in, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What? Right? No, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Right.
Okay, so we're coming up on day number 4. Last night, of course, the vice president candidate accepted the nomination to serve as the vice president of the Democratic Party as a candidate. Okay, right now we're in the candidate mode. We haven't actually named or received the election or anything like that. So we're definitely in the candidate mode. And I love this guy because finally there's someone who comes out so genuine in his messaging with regards to things that are important, not just to himself, but to many, many other people. When he shared the information with regards to using the IVF, in vitro fertilization, because him and his wife was struggling to have a child. And other people want to determine what you can and cannot do in your own house. And so that's why I wanted to talk a little bit about this privacy thing, because I think a lot of people, when they hear about abortions or they hear about parents and others having reproductive rights, they only think about one thing, and that is, do you kill the baby or don't kill the baby? That's all they think about. But they don't think about the fact that people's privacy is being invaded. It's being invaded because when someone tells you what you can or cannot do as it pertains to your body, as it pertains to your family, as it pertains to your thoughts and your actions, That's a problem. They're invading your privacy. They're digging into your business. That's a real problem, because if they dig into your business on one issue, what's to stop them from digging into your business and denying you your privacy, and denying you your rights, and denying you your freedom in any other respect of your life? So let's look at it. People want to suggest that you're not allowed to make your own medical decisions. With you and your doctor, your family members, whoever is involved, they're telling you that you don't have the right to make your own decisions. So they're doing two things here. They're trying to take away your freedom, but they're also trying to take away your privacy, your ability to be private about the things that you choose to do within your own family structure. Think about that for a moment. Think about that for a moment. Someone suggesting that they have the right to invade your privacy, but not just your privacy, your bedroom.
I'm telling you.
Your bedroom.
It's getting crowded in here.
Yeah. Your bedroom. So that means the government, based upon some of these rules that we have in many of the states, feel that they have a right to your medical records. So when you go out of town, they want to determine whether you are or are not pregnant. That's your medical business.
Hello.
That's deep. That's deep. That when you get in your car, because your neighbor reported you as being pregnant, they're going to determine whether or not you're driving to another state, not to visit your family or friends, but you might decide to terminate the pregnancy. Wait a minute. What happened to freedom? What happened to privacy? And what happened to the people that said the government is just too darn big?
Yeah. They're everywhere.
That sounds a little shady to me. On the one hand, you're telling us the government is too big, but then on the other hand, you're saying, well, if your neighbor report you and you're pregnant and they think that you might be going to another state to terminate a pregnancy, they don't know that. They just think that. So again, a wise heart will receive commands, but a chattering fool, I didn't say it, that's what scripture says, comes to ruin.
Well,
so you're creating problems for not only yourself, but you're creating problems for your neighbor. And I got a problem with that. I have a problem with that. I don't think the government has a right to your medical records, or to determine if your doctor is performing a surgery that the government say you can or cannot have. I think that's a problem. What do you think, Henderson?
Well, you know, that's the thing with everything. They try to make it, when they make laws, and sometimes they don't even tell you why they're doing it, but they just slip it in on you. And then when something happens, next thing you know, you're facing a law that you didn't know nothing about, that you broke.
Exactly.
So those are very complicated.
So these people who feel that their morals, which after I have watched them over the last few years talk about morals, but they are very comfortable, extremely comfortable with someone who has 34 been convicted of 34 counts. They're comfortable with someone that says they're going to grab somebody by their personal body parts, but then in the next breath, they're going to tell someone else that they don't have morals and that you must operate in this narrow, very narrow order of things, of morals, of things that they decided are right morals or wrong morals. They're moral reasons that they don't think someone should be entitled to their reproductive rights. So what happens when they decide, well, I don't like that tattoo you have on your arm. I think that's kind of personal, don't you, Henderson?
Of course. I mean, most people really don't understand back in the 60s,
Mhm.
a black person, a black man could not wear his hair long.
Mhm.
They didn't change it to the 70s.
Mhm.
You know, you had to keep your hair cut all the way down to where it was. You couldn't even wear a fro.
Yeah.
You know,
So if you think that them saying that we don't want people to have reproductive rights, you don't think they might come after you next about your tattoo?
hello.
Because your tattoo didn't have an American flag on it, or your tattoo showed two people of the same sex kissing. Okay, so does this new government, do they have a law that says we get to lock you in jail, but nobody ever worked on that law except for the moral police? Got the moral police running around here. Yeah, we got a moral police. But it's their morals as they see fit. Has nothing to do with any legitimate law. It's just their morals.
Right.
And their morals change all the time, because keep in mind, some of the same people that had these so-called morals, some of them got caught having same sex in their office, in a congressional office.
Hello. Taxpayers' money at work.
In a congressional office. But they say they have all the morals and that they are the moral police for all of us. No written laws or rules or regulations or policies that have been voted on.
Yeah.
They just going to be the moral police.
Unbelievable.
So now, here again is an opportunity, while you sat there and said, well, you know, I don't believe in abortions. I don't either. But I sure enough ain't got no business in somebody else's bedroom, okay? I don't have any business in anybody's bedroom. So if they go after that particular issue, what's to stop them from going after another and another and another? And ultimately, none of us have freedom. And I just have to say, we who believe in freedom, we cannot rest. So for those of you who are out there and listening, if you believe in freedom, you better wake up right now, because Project 2025, they're looking at every way that they can take away freedom of all types, not just reproductive rights, but all types. If you don't believe or operate in the way that I say you should operate, then you need to be locked up in jail, or you need to lose your job, or guess what? The government is going to come in and they're going to take your company and give it to somebody else. I want y'all to understand how this thing rolls, not just downhill, but it rolls uphill. So those of you who think that you are set, that you are very, very rich or what have you, guess what? There are plenty of people that are richer than you.
Hello.
And maybe some of these people that are going into this 2025 program, and they have become these loyal subjects to this dictator, and they look out there and they see your corporation, and your corporation is not as big as the 18 billion billionaires combined. What's to stop those 18 billionaires that are sitting around that table, that big old conference table, and all of a sudden this guy He only is worth $1 billion, but all his buddies are sitting around the table. They're worth 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 billion.
Right.
Okay. And they all come together, and you sitting there, you talking to your friends, and first it starts out as a joke. Man, you know what? That company over there, that small company that's doing $100 million a year, I like that company. I want to take that company and I want it to be my company. Now, never mind that this other person used their ingenuity to get this company up and running. They got good employees. Things are going great. It's very successful. But now I belong to this 2025 project. And look, I am not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to open up your eyes, okay?
Yeah.
There's a song that says, Father, open our eyes that we may see. So I'm just trying to suggest that you might want to open your eyes that this may not be reproductive rights. It may be about your privacy. And if I can take your privacy over here in this area, what's to stop me from taking it from you somewhere else? And I'm sharing this with you today because our freedom is under attack from the bedroom to the boardroom. And that's why I made that analysis with regards to a business that you might own. Because I want to caution us not to just think that they're only going after reproductive rights. No, they're going after your privacy. They're going after your pocketbooks. They're going after your bank account. They're going after the knowledge that you have, and they want to steal your intellectual property.
Hello.
And if you don't believe it can be done, look at all the land wherever you live. Look at all the land that used to belong to Black people.
Yeah.
And if they did it before, they can do it again. They're just using a different process.
Yep.
So I just want to open your eyes. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to bring you some knowledge. I'm trying to get you to look at things a little bit bigger than that little tiny crystal ball that you've been looking into. I want you to broaden your thinking and think about this more from not just from a reproductive rights issue, but think about those other issues of rights and privileges and things that you have. I'll give you another example. All the laws that have been changed with regards to voting rights. It started out with one little state, and then it went to another and another. And now I think we're at close to 22 states that have changed voting rights laws in various ways. So be very careful when these things start to happen and you feel that you can be complacent when it comes to voting. Again, our topic today is about freedom and your privacy and about voting. We need to vote, and we need to vote in droves. We cannot sit here and watch people whisper, and in many instances, they ain't even whispering anymore. They're not even whispering anymore. They're not wearing sheets anymore. They're wearing suits and ties, and they're having their parties at the golf course and these other various private places where they have these conversations about what they're going to do next and how that's going to impact all of these people out here, but how it's going to pad their pocketbooks. So it's going to pack you, me, and others, but it's going to pad their pocketbooks. It's going to pad their balance sheets. So I want to caution us as we're going forward with regards to what is taking place. As I listened to our sister last night, not last night, night before last, forever and ever, our first lady. And she talked about, freedom and decency and humility and integrity and how people work so hard to make others afraid afraid of a smart, brilliant, qualified, dignified.
Who you talking
For
about?
years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs? Look, it's his same old con. His same old con. Doubling down on ugly, misogynistic, racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions that will actually make people's lives better. For years.
All right. And see, that's the issue. When you ain't got nothing, you can't say nothing. So you make up stuff about other people.
Hello.
So again, I want to caution us. These people work in processes. Okay. They have a plan of action. And so the process in the plan is to demean others and say it over and over and over and over again. All I got to do is say it. If I tell a lie long enough, guess what? People begin to believe it. And then after they believe it, I put them in a position where they need to act, sometimes in very detrimental ways, harmful ways that can harm people. Take a look at January 6th. All they had to do was say the presidency was stolen. Mm-hmm. And after a while, you saw this fervor. Everybody, all these people, all upset and angry about an unstolen election. But all the person had to do was say it over and over again. And then other people begin to say it. And then the media began to talk about it. They didn't necessarily say it. They said, well, no, it's not stolen. But they kept repeating that same soundbite over and over and over and over again. So the more they did that, the more people became enraged. And the more they became enraged, the more they began to decide they wanted to act, which created a mess at the Capitol. So we got to be very careful. We got to listen, as Mr. Joe Madison says, with a third ear. And we got to look with a third eye, because freedom and our privacy, that's under attack right now. Both our freedom as well as our privacy is under attack. So be careful when these people have people sitting in high places and can have and make decisions about things that belong to us. Because guess what? They did it before. They did it with Tulsa. There were people sitting in high places, and then what they would do is they would get people who was poor as dirt upset and enraged. And so what they did is they told the people who had nothing, go over there and see what those folks got in Tulsa. They got pianos in their house. They own insurance companies. They got an airport. They own a hotel.
Yeah.
And so they got them all ruffled and all upset. And they were willing to take your freedom. Why? because they knew there were no consequences if they came in, burned you out, killed your family, your children. There were no consequences to their actions. So be careful. I caution us as we go forward over the next few days. We're down to 75 days before it's time to vote. I believe. I think yesterday was 76, so that means today should be 75.
Right.
If there are 75 days until you vote, tell everybody, go to the polls and vote. Tell everybody, tell Lottie, Dottie, and everybody, because this is not a joke. This is real. This is for real. As I said before, they did it before. When they took land, when they did not put infrastructure after the federal government sent money down to put infrastructure in Black communities and didn't bother to do that, it allowed those communities to go down. It allowed those communities to go down and to suffer. And so what ultimately happened? People began to move out of those communities. And what ultimately happened? It allowed people to come in and buy that land for little or nothing. So now they own those communities, and the people who left those communities did not have an inheritance. There was no inheritance for them. All right, I think it's coming on time to do some announcements, acknowledgments, commemorations, etc.
All right.
First, I want to commemorate Fannie Lou Hamer, who went before the DNC in August of 1964. I believe this year is 60 years. She went there under the Mississippi Democratic Freedom Party to give voice to the voiceless. She says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And she suffered. So those of you who are out here whining because you voted one time and you didn't get everything you want, let me tell you about Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer, when she went to register to vote, they gave her a poll tax. Okay, they let her register, but they told her that it doesn't count because you need to pay your poll tax. But guess what? She paid her poll tax. So then they told her, you got to have 2 receipts. So she had to pay poll tax again because 1 receipt wasn't enough. She suffered exploitation. She suffered because they made her take literacy tests. She was shot at. She was beaten. She joined many civil rights organizations to include the SNCC, which is the Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee. She joined the SCLC, which is the Southern Christian Leadership Council, and she joined other civil rights organizations. She even started civil rights organizations as well, because she wanted to bring about justice. And many of you sitting out there because you don't feel like enough got done. First you was whining that nothing got done. Now that something got done, now you're fussing that enough didn't get done. So at what point in time will you be satisfied with your one lousy vote? And I don't mean this in a detrimental way, but you voted one time. You only voted for the presidency. You didn't vote for the Congress. You didn't vote for the Senate. You didn't vote for the governor. You didn't vote for the state legislature. You voted one time and you whining that everything didn't get done. Well, maybe if you consistently and consecutively voted and you put enough people in office so that the president would have not only a House, but he have a Senate too, just maybe some of those things you want would get done. Okay, a little bit more about her. Keep in mind when Fannie Lou Hamer was fighting in 1870, the ratification of the 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution took place in 1870 to vote. In 1870, the 15th Amendment ratifying the right for people to vote. And Black people still suffered. And all we're asking you to do is to go online and do a QR code and register to vote. Vote.com, vote.org. There's a lot of places that you can go to. You can go down to your local registrar's office and vote. Because Fannie Lou Hamer, she suffered all types of atrocities so that you would have the right to vote. The next announcement I want to make is Black August. The month of August is a month-long celebration and awareness campaign that honors Black freedom fighters, political prisoners, revolutionaries, and radicals, both living and deceased. Throw out a name. Name a Black revolutionary. I know you're looking at this picture right behind me.
Oh, you talking to me?
Dr. King.
Oh,
Malcolm X. Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth.
Oh, yeah.
We should be acknowledging and celebrating, but we got living ones as well. We got my girl, Sister Soldier, always in the fight for justice. We have Dr. William Barber, Reverend William Barber, depending upon how you want to name him, always fighting for justice. We have Derek Johnson, president of the NAACP, always fighting for justice for our people. So August is a month-long celebration and awareness campaign that honors Black freedom fighters, Black political prisoners, revolutionaries, and radicals, both living and deceased.
You left one off the list.
Huh?
So you left one off the list, Georgia Allen.
Thank you. And I wanted to do that because a lot of times we don't recognize one another. We don't recognize what people have been doing, are doing, and continue to do. Another announcement is it's Restaurant Week. It's Restaurant Week here for the NAACP here in the city of Virginia Beach. Go online to vbnaacp.org.com. I always get it confused. I do it all the time and I still get it wrong unless I go to my favorites and click on it. But if I try to call the name out, I get it wrong. But that's okay. That's okay. Because it makes you go to work and not just sit there and wait for something to just drop in your lap. Yeah. Do something. What did they say last night? Do something. If you see something wrong, do something. Okay. And then I want to announce that on September the 20th, 2024, it's going to be the first day of early voting here in the city of Virginia Beach. So we're encouraging people to put on their white. This is primarily for the Black community, but others can join in. We're asking you to wear white, and we said put on a red heart. And guess what? What's so neat about this? You know, construction paper, red construction paper. You can get our children to cut out little hearts, get them involved, bring them with you to the voting, to the polling place. You can clip it on, you can pin it on. And this is a way that you can get our young people involved. And guess what? That heartbeat, it's our heartbeat. It's our heartbeat of freedom. Having that heart is so important because, you know, when you think about that little red heart, you think about the bloodshed. When you think about that little red heart, you think about our legacy. When you think about that little red heart, you think about all the injustices, but then you think about the things that we are doing to turn things around, to make things better. And that's up to all of us. It's not just one person's responsibility. It's all of our responsibility. So our heart, it's our heartbeat. Our heart, it's our heritage. It's our legacy. It's our lineage. It's the bloodshed. It's our sacrifice. But more importantly, and I don't know if it's more importantly, but also it is our future. It is our future. So again, September the 20th, we're encouraging everybody, go to the polls, vote. and vote early. And September the 20th is the third Friday in September. And we're encouraging all of our groups and organizations, our social organizations, our churches, our civil rights organization, NAACP, fraternity, sorority, Virginia Beach Interdenominational Ministers Conference. Everybody is invited to go in droves. Get your, I say, look, carpool to the polls. Carpool to the polls. So on September the 20th, it is early voting, the first day of early voting. We're encouraging everybody to go to the polls and vote. It is my daughter's birthday, September the 20th. So I'm going to vote on behalf of her family. I'm going to vote on behalf of my sisters and my brothers, those who are here, those who have left and gone, who are no longer with us, and all, because it's so critically important that we get out there and that we vote and that we show our power. And our power is our strength of unity. So again, this month, Black August, is a month-long celebration, a month-long commemoration and awareness campaign that honors our Black freedom fighters, our political prisoners, our revolutionaries and radicals, both living and deceased. And we cannot honor them without mentioning people like, oh my God. Oh, the African president. Oh my God. Winnie Mandela and Nelson Mandela. We cannot honor without remembering them. So we who believe in freedom cannot rest. So this is all about freedom. It's all about moving us forward. It's all about us participating, engaging. You know, voting is about more than just voting on that day. Yes. Okay. It's about our protection. We have to have protections against the atrocities that's being pushed against us. When we go to vote, there's a lot of things that may go on this year in terms of people saying that you're not registered to vote. So we're asking everybody to please, and I have this card. I can leave it up for a little while. If you're listening live, or if you listen later, if you scan this card, you'll be able to scan this QR code. You will be able to check what your voting status is. It'll also allow you to go online and register to vote. We need everybody checking their status. Between now and November the 5th, there will be a lot of shady stuff going on, a whole lot of shady stuff going on. So please, periodically, go online, check your status, go to your local voter registrar's office, because this is about freedom. This is all about freedom. And if you believe in freedom, you cannot rest. You should not rest until it comes. Until it comes. So I need you guys to get out there. I need you to, 10 toes down. 10 toes down. I need you to stand tall. I need you to have your back straight. I need you to look forward, not behind. I need you to make sure that you are out there and are actively engaged. You need to be registering people to vote. You need to be volunteering. You need to be engaging people. You need to be educating people. You got to participate in all levels of this voting time here. And then on election day, those of you who can serve as election officials, we need you inside the precinct. Those of you who cannot, we need you outside the precinct. We need you watching, making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do. And remind me, Henderson, next week, remind me to get the toll-free number that people can call in the event that they run into a situation when they go to the polls. There's a protection phone number. There's going to be a protection phone number. And I want to make sure that we start giving that protection phone number out, make sure that people have it, they take it with them, so that in the event on election day, if they run into any issues whatsoever, there should be a toll-free number that they'll be able to call to get assistance at the polls when it's time for them to vote. And I know we're putting this out early, but this is a very critical election. It is extremely critical because keep in mind, the person on the other side, he said, you only got to vote one more time. After that, you ain't got to vote no more. As a matter of fact, he even told his people, you ain't even got to vote now, because they're putting people in place all over the country that will certify that he won the election, even if he did not win.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, he stood on, I saw him. He said, you ain't got to vote no more. You won't even have to vote. I don't care if you vote. You ain't got to, look, my people, y'all ain't got to vote for me. Because all over, he's using secretaries of states all over who are responsible for the election system in each of your states.
Mm-hmm.
The same guy that told him, no, I'm not going to find you 11,780 votes. No. An adamant no. He is trying to find people that will say, I'm going to find you 5,000 votes. Or I'm going to find you 8,000 votes. I'm going to find you 20,000 votes. I'm going to find you 30,000 votes. And just add those votes to the final numbers. So if I sound like I'm a little bit hot up in here, a little bit on fire, it's because I've been paying attention.
Yeah.
I've been paying attention. So those of you who are listening to me right now, again, you can listen live or you can listen later. This is serious business. We are definitely in a fight for our freedom. And just so that you know, for all of you who are out here that said, oh man, they did that a long time ago. Sweetheart, freedom is not free.
Hey, tell them again.
Freedom is not free. People have to fight for it again and again and again because it's not free. It's a work in progress. There is a daily push to ensure that obstacles are not confining us or binding us to prevent us to live and breathe and fully move about in peace wherever we wish to go. See, there's a push on our behalf. There are people in civil rights organizations, they're pushing, they're working to remove any of these obstacles that may confine you or bind you and try to prevent you from living the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that we all deserve. These are people that you don't even know that are fighting on your behalf. They're fighting for you. They're fighting for your children. They're fighting for your jobs. They're fighting for your businesses. They're fighting for your housing. They're fighting for your economics. And they're fighting for you even in cases where there's environmental injustice, where they decide to bring a factory only into certain communities because they know the chemicals can do harm and damage to you and your family, but they would never think of bringing those chemicals into another place.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. People are fighting for you out here. They're fighting for your freedom because, see, when those chemicals are not in your neighborhood, that's allowing you to be free. When those chemicals are in your neighborhoods, that can cause your children to suffer from various types of cancers. That doesn't allow you to be free if you're back and forth to the doctor's office and back and forth to the hospital because your children are suffering. Okay, you're not free. This is why this election is so important. And again, this has been a fantastic week at that Democratic National Convention, and watching the events and watching the speakers and listening to the concerns that they have, because they have the same concerns that many of us have. And to all of those people who are out there that are marching, I have no problem with you marching, but I do have a problem when you decide that you're going to break down fences and gates and things of that nature. There's plenty of messages that you can put on signage, but you need to have a nonviolent march. Okay. To those of you who are out there marching at the Democratic National Convention, and I'm going to say this again. If you got a backbone and spine and you think you can march at the Democratic Convention when they've already said we're willing to sit down and talk with you, but you are afraid to go over to the RNC convention. You go to the DNC, but you won't go to the RNC convention because you're scared that they're going to harm you. There's your answer. That's your answer right there.
Yep. Oh, you bad over here.
Yeah.
But you ain't bad over there.
But you're not going to go over there because you're afraid that they're going to take out the billy clubs, beat you in the head, and nobody is going to jail. So then why are you over here messing with the people that are trying to help you behind?
Yeah.
Why? So if it sounds like I have an issue with that, I do, because we've done the non-violent marches, okay? And when we open the doors up, everybody got a chance to walk through those doors.
Yeah, and it still is.
And they're still going through those doors. And believe me, I have compassion for anybody who is being mistreated in any way, shape, or form. But one, as I've always said, you got to pick your fights wisely. And then when you pick a fight, you got to know how to maneuver through the system if you want to win the fight. Because I'm going to tell you, and I love y'all dearly, I'm compassionate about what's going on in the Middle East. But the things that you are doing, you're losing people that would support you. Because, see, we believe in nonviolence. We believe in nonviolence. We don't believe you need to be pushing down any barriers. If the barrier is there, it's there for a reason. We also don't believe that you should be attacking average Americans who are attending the convention. We don't believe that you should be up in their face. They paid money to go to that convention.
Yep.
Okay.
But I think sometimes these people don't understand is it's the freedom of the United States. You can't even do it to the country where you came from.
Thank you.
So why are you here telling us what we should do, but
Correct.
you can't tell the people in your own land what to do? But you come over here.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
So why are you going to be nasty to us?
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't use your voice. By all means. If you got some concerns, there's letter writing, there's calling Congress people, there's calling the White House, all of those things you have every right to do.
Yeah.
But you don't have the right to take the freedom of the people who are in Chicago, who are delegates, and obstructing their way to get in and out and to their hotels and to a place to eat or whatever. And you don't have a right to disrupt those businesses because you're costing them money.
I think they come on a Visa card, don't they?
Okay.
What if their Visa card get revoked?
Okay. So my thing is, yes, if you want people to have empathy for what you're going through, you might want to change your tactics. You just might want to change your tactics. And that's on both sides of the issue.
Yeah.
Okay. You might want to change your tactics. So we're coming close to the end of this show.
Yeah.
And again, I'm excited about this week, and I'm looking forward to a feisty debate on the 10th of September. Right, and I'm not sure when the and that's between the candidates who are running for the presidency, and then I'm not sure when the candidates for the vice presidency. I'm not sure when their debate is going to take place. I know that the presidency is supposed to take place on the 10th of September. So you might want to put that on your calendar as well. But again, this has been a great week. November 5th is election day. And you're going to have a decision to make. Do you want freedom? Do you want to be free and stay free? Do you want to have a right to your privacy? Do you want to have options? Do you want to be able to give your own opinions? Or do you want to have someone monitoring you and determining whether or not everything you do is right by their playbook, by their measure, without any legitimate laws or any policies? I'm looking at this beautiful lady on the screen. Keep her up there. That has been instituted by the majority of the nation. Or are you going to listen to something that has been instituted by only a few people deciding everything for everyone? Because see, that's your choice, November the 5th. That is your choice. You got the choice of freedom to move about in this nation freely, or you have a situation where you're going to have people deciding everything for you and about you. So again, you will have a choice. Do you want to live on the edge, or do you want to live free? Do you want government anywhere and everywhere in your business, or do you want your privacy? November 5th is when the decision will be made. Your voice, your choice. This is Georgia F. Allen with GA for Justice, and I'm coming to the close of the show today. It's been wonderful having a conversation with you. It's on you, Henderson. Thank you.
No doubt about it. You've been listening to the one and only community activist that bring it and tell it like it is. And to tell it like it is, I'm with her.
All right.
Don't forget to tune in next week, same time, same place, same station, WVDM, GA for Justice, your community activist, Miss Georgia Allen. Until then, y'all have a great day.